Engineering is usually a battle against gravity, but sometimes the enemy is something much simpler and much deadlier: friction. On a pitch-black, rainy evening in October 2024, the Cambrian Line in Wales became a trap. Two passenger trains, carrying ordinary people home from work, were hurtling toward each other on a single track. Between them stood one of the most advanced digital safety systems in the world, a computer designed to make human error impossible. It commanded the train to stop. It screamed for the brakes to hold. But physics had other plans. The train didn't stop. It became a 40-ton sled, sliding helplessly past red signals, past safety loops, and down a steep gradient for over 800 meters. Inside the cab, the driver did everything right, but the machine refused to obey. This isn't just a story about a crash. It is a story of the Talerddig disaster, where $1 billion of high-tech signaling was defeated by a handful of crushed leaves and a blocked plastic tube. This is what happens when nature breaks the machine. To understand this disaster, you have to understand the terrain. The Cambrian Line is not a high-speed intercity route. It is a lifeline winding to the rugged, desolate hills of mid-Wales, connecting Shrewsbury in England to the coastal town of Aberystwyth. It is wild, it is steep, and critically it is mostly single track. That means trains traveling east and trains traveling west share the same rails. They can only pass each other at specific passing loops, widened sections of track where one train pulls over to let the other by. One of these loops is at Talerddig. It sits near a summit, meaning trains have to climb up a steep hill to reach it and then brake hard as they descend into it. Since 2011, this line has been a testing ground for the future. It uses ERTMS, the European Rail Traffic Management System. If you look out the window, you won't see traditional colored traffic lights on the side of the tracks. They don't exist here. Instead, the signaling is entirely digital. A computer screen inside the driver's cab tells him exactly how fast to go and when to stop. If the driver misses a warning, the computer automatically cuts the power and applies the brakes. It is a system built to conquer human ambition's flaws. It assumes that if the computer says stop, the train will stop. But on October 21st, 2024, that assumption was fatal because the computer controls the brakes, but it cannot control the rail. We take friction for granted, but on a railway, friction is a miracle. A train wheel is made of polished steel. The rail is polished steel. The contact patch, the actual area where the wheel touches the track, is about the size of a small coin. Through that tiny coin-sized patch, the train must transfer all its braking power. In the UK, autumn brings a unique nightmare known as low adhesion. It sounds like a minor inconvenience, but to a train driver, it is terrifying. When leaves fall onto the tracks, they don't just sit there. The immense weight of passing trains crushes them. The pressure cooks the leaves, releasing a chemical called pectin. This pectin mixes with light rain to form a hard, black, Teflon-like coating on the steel rail. Under normal conditions, the coefficient of friction is around 0.3 or higher. On a leaf-contaminated rail, that number drops to 0.05. That is roughly the same friction as wet ice on glass. When a train hits this black ice, the wheels lock up, they stop spinning, but the train keeps moving. Modern trains have a system called WSB, wheel slide protection. It works like the ABS brakes in your car. It releases the brakes for a split second to let the wheels spin again, trying to find grip. But if the entire rail is coated in sludge, there is no grip to find. Network Rail fights this war every year. They send out rail head treatment trains, equipped with high-pressure water jets to blast the slime off. One had even cleaned this very line 24 hours earlier. But Talerddig is deep in the forest, and in 24 hours, nature had reloaded the weapon. The timeline of the crash is a slow-motion horror story. It is the evening peak. The 1831 service from Shrewsbury is a Class 158 express sprinter. It is climbing the hill toward the Talerddig loop. Its job is simple: enter the loop, stop at the red signal, and wait for the opposing train coming from Mackinac to pass. 19:25 p.m. The train crests the summit. The driver begins a descent. The gradient here is steep, 1 in 56. Gravity is pulling the train down. The ERTMS screen indicates a braking curve. The driver applies the brakes. Suddenly, the sensation changes. The familiar deceleration is gone. The train feels light. The wheels have locked. The WSB system kicks in. You can hear the valves venting air. CH, trying to unlock the wheels. But the speed isn't dropping fast enough. The driver realizes the danger. He applies the emergency brake, the mushroom button. On dry rails, this would stop the train instantly. Tonight, it does nothing. The 40-ton train is now floating on a layer of crushed leaves. It is no longer a vehicle. It is a projectile. The train slides past the designated stopping point. It exits the safety loop. It rejoins a single main line, the same line occupied by the oncoming train. The ERTMS system screams warnings. It detects the overrun. It commands a stop. But a computer cannot create friction. For over 800 meters, that's nearly a kilometer, the train slides in the darkness. The driver is helpless. At 19:26 p.m., roughly 15 miles per hour, the sliding train collides head-on with the stationary train waiting on the line. The impact isn't high speed, but the momentum is massive. The cabs crumple. Passengers are thrown from their seats. Tragically, amidst the wreckage and the panic, one passenger suffers a fatal heart attack. A journey home ended in tragedy, not because of speed, but because of the lack of it. When the dust settled, investigators from the Rail Accident Investigation Branch, RAIB, arrived to answer one question. Why didn't the train stop? We know about the leaves. We know about the ice. But trains have a backup system specifically for this nightmare. It's called the sander. Every train has hoses located right in front of the wheels. When the computer detects a slide, it is supposed to shoot gritty sand onto the railhead. The wheels crush the sand, creating instant friction, breaking through the leaf layer. It is the last line of defense. And on the night of the crash, it failed. Investigators looked at the lead train's sanding hoses. They weren't empty. They were blocked. During the journey, the hoses had sucked in organic debris, leaves, mud, and twigs from the trackside. The tubes were clogged solid. When the driver hit the brakes and the WSB screamed for help, the sanders fired, but nothing came out. This was a fatal error. The driver was fighting a battle with no ammunition. Without sand, the steel wheels had zero chance against the leaf mulch. This echoes the tragic Salisbury Tunnel crash of 2021, where similar adhesion issues caused a collision. It proved that no matter how much digital technology you install in a cab, safety ultimately relies on a plastic tube clearing a path for the wheels. The Talerddig collision is a harsh reminder for every engineer and every designer. We can build digital systems that talk to satellites. We can automate speed limits. We can seek to remove human error entirely. But we cannot code our way out of physics. A billion-dollar signaling system was rendered useless by a layer of crushed leaves and a clogged hose. One life was lost, and 15 others were injured because the most basic fundamental of movement, friction, was compromised. It teaches us that maintenance is not just a checkbox. It is the foundation of survival. When we ignore the basics, the complex systems crumble. Respect the physics. And never trust a slide. Thanks for watching Build and Rise Network. If you want to understand the mechanics behind the world's biggest failures, hit that subscribe button. We upload deep engineering breakdowns every Wednesday and Saturday. I'm your name. Build your foundation. Rise without regret.